Hey guys, today we're talking about a pretty nifty little device. It's pretty unique in what it offers, but it does bring a lot to the table. It's a device that will probably appeal to relatively few people, and I would imagine it would just be one of those things that will never really hit the ground running, but it actually should appeal to so many more people than what it does, and it's the NexDock Touch. Now, the NexDock isn't new, and it's one of those Kickstarter devices that started a few years back now, and there's been a couple of iterations of this. Now, what it is, in basic principle, it's a lap dock, and it's not new. We've seen this before by Motorola with the Motorola Atrix, and what it allows you to do is dock your phone or your smart device into a laptop shell, and then use your mobile phone as the core components of it. Where the NexDock differs to things that have come in the past and then died because just no one was interested in them, is it offers much nicer hardware. But above all that, it's the software and the actual devices now that make it actually work. So first up, the hardware. Now, this device looks pretty nifty. It's got a very MacBook-esque sort of vibe to it. You've got those black keys and then the brushed aluminium type finish, large trackpad on there as well, and a 1080 screen. And that 1080 screen is touch for the first time from NextDock, so it allows you to fully interact with your device through that screen, which is really nice. It's lightweight, it offers plenty of battery in there as well. But like I said, the unique thing about this is the device is basically just a shell. You take your smartphone, plug it into the device, and you run whatever operating system is running on your smartphone through this. It doesn't necessarily even need to be a smartphone. If you have something like the Nintendo Switch, you can plug that in and then do some mobile gaming on the go, which again gives you that second monitor. You can plug this into a PC or to a laptop to have an external monitor as well. So the possibilities are pretty endless. But where it really comes into its own is the fact that it offers you that full shell for your device. Think about something like Samsung DeX. The main drawback of that is you have to plug it into an external monitor. Then you plug a keyboard and a mouse in, and although the operating system is absolutely awesome and it's really moved ahead since its launch, one of the downsides is if you're already in that solution where you have a monitor, keyboard and a mouse, you're probably already going to have some kind of dedicated hardware there, and it just becomes a little bit redundant. With something like the NextDock, you'd be able to carry around that laptop shell with you pretty much wherever you go, and then plug your mobile device into that. So I suppose the question is why? Why would you bother? And especially when there's so many budget devices out there that you can get your hands on instead. And why am I excited by something like this? Well, it's pretty simple. Most people tend to have a laptop for productivity use and also have some kind of desktop as well. And that laptop is literally just for when they're out and about, or maybe doing something around the house instead where you don't want to have to boot up your desktop or anything like that. Laptops are obviously becoming increasingly more expensive, and the budget market is also widening as well. So if you've already got that pretty powerful desktop hardware and you just need something, I guess, lightweight for email, for word processing, just for browsing the web on the go, and you're not really doing anything that's really task intensive or CPU intensive, then something like the NextDock becomes exceptionally appealing. Smartphones have gotten more and more powerful, and it seems a lot of that power that's under the hood is kind of redundant because you just don't need it. Being able to really take advantage of that hardware that's in your smartphone in a laptop-like device just means that you don't have to keep on paying for multiple devices. You're not upgrading your phone, your tablet, your laptop, your desktop. You're not doing all of that. You're literally just upgrading your phone and your desktop PC because you can use this laptop and just plug the next generation of device into it, which just broadens the scope of it and it keeps the longevity of the device going and gets you much more value for your money. But then the flip side is, you could just buy some budget hardware. We did a video on that recently and it covered the Lenovo Duet, and it's a good little device. And actually, these come in at pretty much the same sort of price. So the NextDock is £269 and something like the Lenovo is £279. So why would you settle for something that is literally just a shell versus something that is fully fledged, includes a keyboard, includes the actual tablet itself, and offers that sort of functionality? And the answer is pretty simple, is that the Lenovo, although it's a great device, and although some of these budget devices really are handy for just some media consumption or very light work on the go, they just start to fall apart when you do anything that involves any form of multitasking or anything that's even slightly intensive. They chug, they slow down, they're not built for that. They're a media consumption device or firing off a couple of emails. With something like the NextDock, like I said, you are taking advantage of the hardware that is in your phone. So if you have something like the Galaxy Note Ultra 20, then you are packing so much horsepower in that and you're going to be able to get most of your tasks done. And you won't be doing that with any slowdown. So there is the benefit. You're paying £269 to use something that's already in your pocket that you have a lot of hardware for and a lot of horsepower for. and that absolutely trashes any of these budget devices. Obviously you do have some disadvantages. You don't have two devices and all of that, but at the end of the day, a lot of these budget devices, like I said, are just more media consumption, regardless of how it gets shown to everybody and advertised to everybody. They just can't keep up with any sort of real productivity work. Something like the NextDock does enable you to do that because your phones can keep up with it. The other major advantage of something like this setup is, despite how good the cloud is at synchronizing all of our information and making sure that our documents that are on our phone are also on our tablet, they're also on our laptops, they're also on our desktop, it's not seamless. And if you go somewhere that doesn't have internet connectivity, then it starts to fall apart. With something like the NextDock, if you're a business user, if you're going to college, if you're a student or anything like that, you could take down some notes on your phone, you could take a few pictures, and then when you're plugging it into the NextDock, it's all there. You're using exactly the same storage on your device on the NextDock, which means if you want to drag some of those photos you've taken into a document, you can. If you want to be able to pull down a PDF or a Word document that you got emailed through, it's right there. You literally just log onto your email on the device and it's there straight off. If you saved something earlier in the day on your phone, again, it's there. There's no having to kind of back it up onto an external memory. There's no use in going onto the cloud or anything like that, because that one device solution, it works and it just makes things a little bit more seamless. Your other benefit, of course, is a more practical one. It's so much lighter weight. This device is 14.1 inch display, it's 1080, but it's a relatively lightweight because it doesn't have to pack in additional internals. You don't have all the RAM in there, you don't have the motherboard, you don't have anything like that. It uses relatively small, lightweight components because everything's been run off of your device. So when you sling it in your bag, you're carrying it around, it's not going to be breaking your back. It might not be a massive issue for some, but for some people out there, that's going to be really appealing. And then the final thing is, it's just so multi-purpose. So if, like me for example, and you have a PC and you want to use an external monitor but you don't use it all the time, I could use something like the NextDock for that because it has HDMI input. If I want to use something like my Nintendo Switch, but I don't want to dock it downstairs, or if I want to use it when I'm on the go and just have a bigger screen, again, I could do that with the NextDock. So unlike traditional laptops and tablets where you can't use those as an external monitor, with NextDock you can. And it offers all sorts of different possibilities, and at £269, it's really, really appealing. Now, should you run out and buy one of these? Well, first up, you have to order them because the first batch has already gone out, and if you order them, they're starting to ship in January. Now, we're going to try and get our hands on one of these so we can do a full review of it because the idea of it is really appealing. This sort of thing is for somebody who uses a lot of stuff on their mobile phone, who's doing a lot of work out in the field, but doesn't need to do anything that's absolutely massively intensive. Then this device is going to be perfect for you, provided the actual hardware lives up to the promise that we're being given. It will allow you to basically use everything that is on your phone onto this laptop type device, and it could make a massive difference, and it should be something that appeals to so many people out there. There are so many field workers, there's so many students, there's so many people, but this sort of thing would be crazy good for. So depending on your needs, this could cut out the need for you to go out and buy a more expensive laptop or a tablet, because you'll be able to turn your phone into that thing that you need on the go. The other question is, why am I even talking about it and why are we covering it on the channel? And the simple answer is because a lot of people really enjoyed the budget showdown video that we did, going over things like the Lenovo versus the iPad versus the Surface Go, and we thought, you know what, we're going to toss another competitor into the ring and just give everybody something a little bit different to think about. This sort of thing has so many practical uses and it's going to appeal to, I suppose, a relatively niche audience, but in reality it's something that should appeal to so many more people. It promises a lot, it looks as though it can deliver a lot, and if we can get our hands on one, well, I can't wait to see what it actually delivers. So, you know what? Subscribe, and fingers crossed we'll be bringing you a full review of it in the near future. So let us know your thoughts. Does this sort of thing appeal to you? Do you like the idea of being able to plug in your mobile device into something like a NextDock, or using one of those little micro PCs and plugging that in? If you do, let us know. And if you're not, well, again, let us know in the comments below. Any other thoughts on the product? Pop them in the comments and we can have a discussion down there. In the meantime, make sure you hit the subscribe button because it's really helping the channel to grow at the moment, and we're on the up and up, and fingers crossed we'll be hitting that magic 1,000 at some point in the very near future. In the meantime, stay safe and we'll be back again in the future with some more awesome content. Bye!